Hey guys, so I'm back right now. I wanted to film a quick little video. I kind of stumbled upon something on YouTube just a few minutes ago, and it kind of saddened me, kind of broke my heart a little bit. It's about an African football player, or we would say here in the States, soccer, and how he had an extremely successful career, went on to get married to a Caucasian white woman, and after a divorce, he's now left with carrying all his belongings in a bag, sleeping on a mat in a friend's living room. And I wanted to put this out here for two reasons. I wanted to share it because I wanted us as Hebrews, brothers and sisters, to be aware of these things that's going on within our people. Everyone's not awakened, but that doesn't mean that they're not our brothers and sisters. At the same time, we need to continue to pray for our people so that they can wake up, that they can stop perpetuating the sins and the curses and transgressions against the law and heaping these curses upon their lives. The other reason why I wanted to share it is because scripture tells us that we are not to marry outside of our people. And this is just another, sad to say, another example of this case gone wrong. That's not to say that every person that marries outside has this type of situation. I don't know, I'm not in every relationship, but I will say that I believe, and it seems to be that more than not, this, something like this kind of happens. But at the end of the day, we are not to marry outside of our blood, because when we mix and we marry, it's causing the Hebrew blood to, kind of disseminate. And how good is a nation if we don't have any more of our people, and so I personally am not in agreement with doing that, marrying outside of our race, outside of our bloodline. But at the same time, a lot of our people do it. But the scripture does say not to do that. But I'm going to upload a video in a few minutes, after this introduction. But really quickly, the brother, I believe he's from the Ivory Coast. I think he's from Ivory Coast, Ghana. And he went on to play in FIFA, tournaments and things of that nature, over in London, England, Europe. And after a bitter divorce, she took everything. And if you listen to the interview that I'm going to play, you'll hear him say things like he trusted her, she was his wife, and he would sign papers without knowing what they were. And now this brother has been stripped of all his millions of dollars. His children will not speak to him. I don't want to say they will not. I'm just saying he hasn't spoken to them in months. He's lost everything he has, all his property, all his assets, everything is gone, and it's all been signed over to this woman. So I also think that, sad to say, a lot of our people, when they get into the professional athlete arena, we realize that they end up doing this. That's not to say that there aren't some bad apples in our bunch as well. You definitely need to be prayerful about the spouse you marry at all. But we do typically tend to see that when we marry outside of our race, specifically with Caucasians, we end up with the short end of the stick. And I just think that's just something that has to stop. And I think that we need to take heed to the scriptures more so, and realize that the people that are not of Israel, they are our enemies. That's not to say that everyone hates. Everyone has in their heart to hate us. There are some people, I believe, that are Gentiles that will love and cherish the God of Israel and his people. But that's very few and far in between. And even though they come smiling in your face, I think that you have to be careful because if you squeeze the tube, you will definitely see what the true character and nature of a person is. So anyway, I just wanted to make that brief introduction, and I want to challenge us more so, pray for our brethren, because they said he's been pushed to the brink of suicide, and I hate to see another one of our people lost to sin and transgression, so pray for him, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Shalom.
everything came like this proof on my life. You know, I lost my job, I lost my funds, my wife, my family, everything. You know, so it's hard. It's very
hard.
In
the last 12 to 14 months, you lost your grandfather,
my brother,
you lost your brother, you lost your job, as you say, and now you've lost your marriage as well, and you could be homeless. You lost your children, effectively the contact with your children.
In the house, but I'm scared because I don't know
what time the police will come.
What they're gonna do? Maybe because I watch movie a lot. Here they don't joke. They come to the house, they block the door, they tell you go out. So me, I'm in my house. Sometimes I shoot off the light
because you're scared.
Because for me, I don't want people to know that I'm inside. So I shoot off the light. I put everything behind the door. So. You know, so it's like my own house. You know, I suffered to buy my house, but because of that things, so now I'm scared. If I don't have a washing machine, I have to wash with my hands. I wash. I look at my hand. Is a hard. If I slap you, you're gonna die. Because every day I wash my jeans, my clothes, my pool, everything. Or one day I was home. I would take my shower. The water was cold. I called my sister. I said, sister, why in my house the water is cold? She told me, check the gas and look, it was 0 pound. The court, even if the judge, the sign, they're not gonna send me out of my house. Yes, is my money. I took my own money to buy. They don't know how many how many me I suffer on the pitch to get my money to make my family happy, you know, to have the house for my family. And then today, because of what? Because of the divorce, they're gonna take everything. So what about me? I will fight until the end, because that one is not fair. What has happened to me? So I will fight until the end, because yes, I don't have cars. Okay, I use Oyster, train, bus. So I have to hide in the bus or in the train because of people that recognize me. And then also the house I have. Okay, is not like the electricity is not I have to put card.
Yeah, he doesn't have a bill. He has to put a card.
Yes, I don't have a bill.
You have to put a key in the meter.
Yeah, bill the key. So sometimes like this, you are in the house, no light. That life, I didn't have that life before, you know, so I can't see them. I can't see them because you know, that one when we are talking about that is hurting me a lot, you know, because of my children. They are the part of me, and then she knows that my children, I was close to my children, so I was ready to do everything for them. My 2 girls, they have phone, they have a number, so we used to talk before. They used to call me before, so but now since 2 months, no contact. We see my teeth are out there, but inside me, even when I was coming in the car with my sister, I was crying for that, because I said to her, I miss my children. I miss my children a lot. I want to see them because it's not fair. When I want to go out. Even today, I went to the training. So from the training, I came here. So when I saw the children before them, they were playing for the family, the parents, they go out, you know, it's paining me a lot. Me, it wasn't only for me but for my son, because my son he plays also for Arsenal. But for him, it was very, very difficult for him to go to school, because at school, you know how the children they talk, you know, so they were laughing about him. Your dad was banned for the FIFA, so you're not gonna play anymore. So it was very, very difficult. But when I get the job with Sunderland, I was happy, but my happiness wasn't for long. It wasn't for long. And then after that, it took my
your happiness.
Happiness like this. So it was very, very difficult again. It was very, very difficult, you know. It's hard to explain, you know. If you are not, if you have this problem, you cannot know. You're welcome. I'll be happy to see Arsenal to help me. To help me. When I say help me, it's not about money. It's not about that. It's not about money. It's about emotional, and then maybe can come and then work there to help all the boys there. I'll be happy. Even now, they still love me, you know. So as I said, we are like a family. Like a family. Doesn't matter if I'm not playing anymore for Arsenal, but when some of them they see me on the road, on the street, they're happy to see me. They said, Eboue, legend. They come take picture, and then that one it make me.
Emmanuel Eboue lifts the lid on bitter divorce battle that left him with nothing and how he hasn't seen his 3 kids since June. The ex-Arsenal ace earned millions during his time in England's top flight, where he lived in a mansion and drove flash cars. Former Premier League star Emmanuel Eboue has lifted the lid on the bitter divorce battle with wife Aurélie that stripped him of all his assets. The ex-Arsenal ace earned millions during his 7 years in England's top flight, where he lived in a mansion and drove flashy cars. However, Eboue, who is unable to play football because of ill health, has been pushed to the brink of suicide after finding himself in a downward spiral. The Ivorian even had to hide from cops and bailiffs after being ordered by a judge to transfer his remaining Anfield home to his wife. He hasn't seen his 3 kids since June. Eboue, who has his belongings in bags, said, "I can't afford the money to continue to have any lawyer or barrister. I am in the house, but I am scared. Because I don't know what time the police will come. Sometimes I shut off the lights because I don't want people to know that I am inside. I put everything behind the door. My own house. I suffered to buy my house, but I am now scared. I am not going to sell my clothes or sell what I have. I will fight until the end because it is not fair." It is now 3 weeks since a deadline passed for Eboue to surrender ownership of the North London home he used to share with Aurélie. A judge will sign the transfer if Eboue does not do so. The player and his wife lived there in happier times before Eboue bought a mansion which Aurélie has now put on the market. He understands she will rent out the Anfield property. The 34-year-old has not seen his children in months. "I can't see them and it is hurting me a lot," he said. "I was close to my children and ready to do everything for them. My 2 girls have a phone and used to call me. But now it has been 2 months with no contact. I miss children. I miss my children a lot and I want to see them because it is not fair. It pains me a lot." Eboue has taken a huge fall from the days he netted millions at Arsenal and then more than £1.5 million a year at Turkish side Galatasaray. His dream of a Premier League return with Sunderland evaporated last year, however, after he was hit with a 12-month ban by FIFA after a dispute with a former agent. Eboue says he was never given guidance to manage his finances. Insisting his wife looked after most of their affairs, he admits being naive with money. He also claims he was beset by a string of people who gave bad advice and lost him huge sums. With a limited education, Eboue is paying the price for being unaware of his financial situation. His handful of visits to the bank were with orally. Eboue even recalls an occasion when bank staff visited him to sign paperwork at Arsenal's training ground. And he now wants other young African footballers to learn from his mistakes. He says, "I look back and say, Emmanuel, you have been naive. Why didn't you think about that before? It is hard. Very, very hard. The money I earned, I sent it to my wife for our children. In Turkey I earned 8 million euros. I sent 7 million back home. Whatever she tells me to sign, I sign. She is my wife. The problems with FIFA were because of people advising me. People who are supposed to care. But it was because of them FIFA banned me." Having surrendered the cars among assets transferred to his wife, Eboue now has an Oyster card and relies on London transport while doing his best to avoid being recognized. He splits his time between the Enfield house and the home of a confidant he calls his sister Yasmin Razak. He often sleeps on a mattress on her living room floor. But even watching TV and seeing the likes of former teammate Thierry Henry as a football pundit triggers negative thoughts. He adds, "When I see Thierry I feel happy for him but ashamed of my own situation. When I see friends on TV that I played with or against I say to myself I should still be there. It's hard to watch them." Both Yasmin and another close pal, ex-Portsmouth and Newcastle striker Lomana Lualua, have been crucial in helping Eboue stay afloat. Of Yasmin, he said, "I call her house the bunker. I can hide there. She has children. I don't want to disturb them, so I sleep on the floor." Eboue is devastated at spending Christmas apart from his own kids, daughters Clara, 14, and Maeva, 12, and son Mathis, 9. He goes on, "It hurts me a lot. They used to call me. But now, no contact. It pains me to be alone without them." Eboue has been left without so much as a washing machine. But he won't be beaten, saying, "Every day I wash my jeans, my clothes, everything. My hands are hard. As though I have been working on a farm. I thank my grandmother because she taught me to wash, cook, clean, everything as a young man. I continue to thank God. I have my life. I didn't want what has happened. I don't wish it on anybody." While Eboue wants to return to playing one day, he would jump at the chance of working with former club Arsenal or Players Union the PFA. He says, "I would accept help from anywhere, but if my previous club wants to help me then I would be very, very happy. Maybe I could help the young players. The PFA helped me when I had my problems with my agent. If they gave me a job, even if it wasn't a big job, maybe I'd see some of the people I played with or against and I'd feel embarrassed. But I would cope."
Social media has been awash with the richest rag story of the former Arsenal defender Emmanuel Eboue, who has been left broke after a bitter divorce and who also is serving a one-year ban after a contractual dispute with an agent. Eboue has also recently had to deal with the deaths of two close family members. But there is a happy twist in the tale as he is being handed the chance to get his life back on track by Turkish giants Galatasaray, where he spent 5 years playing after he left North London. Manager Fatih Terim moved quickly to help the fullback after news of his plight broke on Christmas Eve. According to CNN Turkey, the club have offered Eboue the chance to become the team's under-14 assistant manager. Eboue will begin work as he aims to obtain a coaching license. The Istanbul side will also give him accommodation, a decent salary as he works his way up the ladder and puts his life back on track.